Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Krystal, what's on the show today?
Well, it's a big day today, debate night tonight. Who will win? Who will lose? Who's going to jump up in the polls? Will Warren and Biden go after each other? We've got all the answers for you. Of course, we've also got Brianna Joy Gray, National Press Secretary for the Sanders campaign, on to preview their debate strategy. It's going to be a great show, I think, Sagar.
I think so, too.
All that today on Rising.
Krystal, what are you taking a look at?
Well, as you know, tonight is debate night, folks. Who's excited? Actually, for real, I really am. They may be substance-free, infotainment, sugar highs, but for political dorks like me, and presumably you, dear viewers, you have to admit, they are entertaining. And if we've learned anything in the Trump era, it's that politics as entertainment is just a wonderful thing for the country.
We're up here with makeup on our faces and our rehearsed attack lines, playing roles in this reality TV show. It's one reason why we elected a reality TV star as our president.
So true, Andrew. Seriously, though, I am genuinely interested in seeing Sanders and Warren and Biden and, yes, Yang Gang, John Yang himself, all on the stage together. But I also know for sure that the country is missing out in one very important way. Tulsi Gabbard should also be on that stage. No one else has been as effective at forcing a conversation on the failings and the future of American foreign policy. In a week that included the implosion of Afghan peace talks, the departure of the reckless hawk John Bolton, and the sober remembrance of 9/11, who could be better to act as a voice of moral clarity than an Iraq combat medic who relentlessly calls out the American war machine? In her first two debate performances, Tulsi was powerful. You'll recall that she helpfully reminded Tim Ryan that it was not the Taliban who brought our towers down on 9/11. And her righteous attack on Kamala Harris's record as a prosecutor may have been the single most impactful moment of any of the debates. Kamala had no answer, and she has never recovered in the polls. She came into that debate at around 11 points, and now she sits shy of 7, and her team is talking about a summer slump. It's no wonder that Tulsi was the most Googled candidate on both nights that she appeared. Let's also be clear. None of these candidates has paid more for their beliefs than Tulsi Gabbard. Ever since she, out of principle, resigned from the DNC, she has been persona non grata with the establishment, and it has come at a major cost. No one has been smeared like Tulsi. The media accuses her of being an apologist for a brutal dictator because she, out of a belief in engagement over war, had a meeting with Assad. But somehow, that same standard of outrage isn't applied when it comes to the cozy relationship many of our politicians have enjoyed with the brutal and morally repugnant Saudi regime. Tulsi is accused of being Assad's toady and grilled about it virtually every mainstream interview. But I sure haven't heard the same level of scrutiny applied to Joe Biden's foreign policy, which apparently involves some quite lucrative deals for his son in Ukraine and also in China. That Tulsi has stuck to her principles baffles the media. They are so confused by what she's up to and why she won't bend. But in reality, she has shown true courage. There is nothing more fraught in American politics than challenging the military-industrial complex. And this is where we are so much poorer for the media's blind spots, their conformity, and their pro-establishment biases. Tulsi's hit the necessary 2% in more than 20 polls, but in only 3 qualifying polls as determined by the DNC. You need 4, of course, to make the debate stage. To be honest, that's kind of BS to start with. The poll selection is arbitrary. But more to the point here, is there any doubt in your mind that Tulsi would be polling much higher than the necessary 2% if she had been given anything like a fair shake? But the reality is, Tulsi forces us to ask some pretty tough questions about America, about our role in the world. It's uncomfortable. And rather than dealing with that discomfort, the media has decided to attack and to dismiss her. The truth is, whether you think Tulsi is right or not, I certainly don't agree with her on everything, asking those uncomfortable questions, challenging all of our assumptions, is more necessary now than ever. I'm sure after the debate, the pundits will break out the scorecards, they'll rate their winners and their losers. But even before seeing these debates, I can promise you this. By missing out on Tulsi's courage and her perspective on that stage, we are all losing out. sure Kamala Harris, though, is breathing a big sigh of relief. Sagar, I regret that Tulsi won't be on the stage.
Yeah,
I think it's a big loss.
I do too. She has consistently added such a necessary and fresh perspective. And what's so funny is that Tulsi is so much more in line with the American people than anybody else on the stage. I remember when she was going back and forth with Tim Ryan about Afghanistan, and then Tim Ryan and the whole Washington establishment was on Tim Ryan's stage. And I was just thinking, go and poll the average citizen.
Right.
What are they going to tell you? Let's get the hell out of Afghanistan. That's what they would tell you. And these people, they will never understand that. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, her views are heterodox.
Yeah.
She's stood on principle even when it's been uncomfortable. Again, I don't agree with her on everything, but I love having her voice in this fight because she challenges assumptions, she challenges the establishment, and I hope she'll continue to do so.
Absolutely.
Next on Rising, we go from looking at the broad strokes of debate round 3 to individual candidates' game plans.
Bernie Sanders' National Press Secretary, Brianna Gray, she shares how the senator has prepared and her anticipation for his matchup with Joe Biden when Rising continues.